I will first tell you what important takeaways you need to do aware. I mean, don't look at toughness of the paper. The toughness of the paper could change. I will tell you what the toughness of the paper was in this particular slot, but don't look at the toughness of the paper because it could change slot by slot. That's what happened last year, and people went with a wrong impression. The examination went off. Overall, the pattern of the paper is similar, except maybe two changes that you can look at from the last year's paper pattern. One is a type of question in verbal, where instead of odd one out, which was a theta question, now this time there was some question on fill in the blanks. They're given a sentence and a paragraph. In the paragraph, you had four spaces where you had to put the sentences. So it was sort of like a, odd man out where you fit in the sentence where in which option, but it was not a theta question, so there is negative mark. Though it was supposed to be not difficult, solvable, easy, but still, it's a different type of question. So if you want, maybe a similar type of question should come next slots itself. So what you can do it maybe that you can look at things and look at similar type of questions. I think that such similar questions have come in banking exam or some other exams where you have to fill in the sentence to a particular passage. If you want, you can practice this before you go for the exam. But I think you can also solve it during the exam. I don't see a big problem in that. That's one change. The second change is in DI, where instead of last year's 6-6-4-4 slot, they were 5-5-5-5. Okay, that is how it is. Now, as far as the papers goes, all different people will tell you different things. I mean, some people tell you it's easy, some people will tell you tough. It depends on what you're looking for. From what I gather from my students is if you're really aiming for a very high score, then the paper could be a little tougher in that case. Okay, so a high score could be a little tough to get through. But yeah, if you're not aiming for a very high score, it is possible to get that. You will find a paper doable. But yeah, overall, if I rate it, I would rate it as medium to tougher level. Overall, if I rate it, okay, so I will rate it to medium to tougher level. I would not rate it as easy. There were easy questions for people who are aiming to clear the cutoffs. For quant, maybe you would have few easy questions which are there. But from what I heard, DILR and verbal, there were no cakewalks. You had to struggle. The advantage for the people in the first slot is because the paper was a little on a tougher side, the cutoff will drop down drastically when people cannot manage a tougher paper. As compared to last year, if you look at it, the paper was slightly on a tougher side. And because the paper was slightly on a tougher side, the cutoffs will go down drastically for the first slot people. Now, second and third slot people, we don't know how it is going to be. But for the first slot people, you can expect the cutoff. Any difference people normally do, and especially in a tougher paper, people normally go about it. I would don't right now go to what attempts and how much I score, what I score, etc. Okay, now going to a little bit detail about each section. Verbal, similar pattern, 4 passages, and I think one passage was really tough to understand, but topics were a little difficult. Belief in ghosts, stoicism, etc., etc. And not a very easy to understand. Questions also are slightly inferential based, so normal CAT type passage questions, etc. Patterns were okay, it seems. Then also was fine, and there was new type of question, fill in the blanks also, they were fine. More or less breakup questions are similar, except maybe less theta questions because now only the paradigms were theta. Rest all had option based, so there is always negative marking. Last year it is odd man out was theta, but this time almost everything except you can say except the some gyra jumbles were negative. DLR have 1 DI set and 3 LR set. Okay, 1 set DI. 3 LR set was 1 on tournament, some goals for gold against difference as such. Second was direction of the train. Third LR set was in percentage, and there was 1 DI set which was there. So 4 sets. Not very simple. Even the simple sets were a little time consuming. So you have to have that patience and try to solve the set, and don't rush through it, and you will find it a problem in that case. And for people who have gone to the first slot, I'm not saying the same difficulty will be there in the second slot. Second slot could be a little different. I'm not saying what's the optimum number of sets and what is not optimum number of sets, because that can change from slot to slot. Slot 2 and slot 3 could have a different perspective. But understand, try to solve as much as possible and come out. That's what. Go with an open mind. If you find the paper slots easy, sets easy, solve it. If you don't find it easy, leave it. Also, there are few sets which are on the lendier side. You can maybe leave that for the second round. Try to pick up an easy set in the first and try to solve. Normal strategy. I'm not saying anything different. Don't change the strategy for anything. You don't have to do anything different at least. For verbal, I said you look at a fill in the blank type of question. For DLR, you technically don't have to do anything different because it's a normal CAT type of sum, and the second slot, third slot will have different type of questions. So I don't think any great practice of DLR would help you to try to improve your score drastically. So there's no point. Coming to quant, there are notification this, that, etc. Two or three sums in geometry, and there are few easy sums. But also, as I said, if you want to attempt more number of questions, the difficulty level could rise drastically, and attempting very high number of questions would be difficult. So for people aiming for very high in terms of, they need to have patience and believe. People attempting few questions looking at cutoff, I don't think it should be a problem for them. But yes, it's more to do with calm. Look at, focus on picking up the easy questions, search for easy questions, and then solve. Again, it's the same thing for everyone. Okay, be very clear in the examination for people who are in the slot 2 and slot 3. Don't listen to reviews about the difficult level of the slot 1 paper. It will change. The only relevant review for you is one, that fill in the blanks. There are different type of questions come which may repeat in a second and slot, not necessarily, may repeat in a second and third slot. Second major difference is that 5 questions, 4 sets of DLR. Toughness of the questions could change. Okay, slot 1, some people found it tough, some people found it medium. It could change for you. You may find it easy, you may find it tough. So don't try to purely go on what the first slot people say regarding number of sets to be solved and go in the second slot, because that could backfire drastically. Instead, try with a cool mind, have your own strategy which you've already gone through, and then go. The only thing that you can do maybe before going to the exam is, if you want, you can practice that fill in the blanks type of question. Again, if statement is given, a passage is given, and there are blanks in between, and you have to find out where the statement will be there in the blank. That's the whole idea about the whole thing. Rest, I think, slot 2, slot 3 people don't have to worry about. I think you can just switch off everything. Don't look at the reviews of the first slot and just go. The only reason you had to go look at the reviews of the first slot was, is there any change in the pattern? And the fact that there's no change in the pattern and all the questions are CAT type, sort of, go with the exam with an open mind. A difficult level could change. Have your own strategy in place and try to solve as much as possible and come out with your own proper strategy. I hope that will help. If there are any questions anyone wants to put, then go. LRDI was mixed. Some people found it tough, some people found it moderate. Some also maybe found it easy, but I don't think it was easy. Let me be very clear. I have good students, so it was not easy. And therefore, that is where it is. Right? Yeah, just give me a minute. I'm somewhere outside.
You want to go? Huh? I'm
live YouTube live. Call it. Yeah, sorry. Come back to the alumni meet, and that's where I am. But anyway, all the best for all of y'all. Do well and do great as far as possible. Right? All the best. And if you have any questions, any queries, put it up in the chat box and we'll try to answer as best as possible. Thank you.